Good morning, freelancers. Welcome back to another episode of Community Questions Answered. I'm Pete TT, and today we're going to be going over some of the questions and answers that have been covered this week by the Anthem dev team. Now, for those keeping track, this is week 3, part 1, and you can be sure that at some point this week you will be getting a part 2 because, just like last week, this week the devs have been on absolute fire answering community questions. Now, with all of that aside, let's just jump straight into it. So our first question is, can we have multiple pilots? And the answer is yes. Now, this is a very good thing, especially in a looter-shooter style game. Having the ability later down the line to be able to do end-game activities for rewards more than once a week is a very good idea, and something those of us used to grinding will be very happy that we can do. Now, the next question I have paraphrased for ease of understanding, but bottom line, the question was, can we exit our javelins in the open world? The answer is no. Now, I do have to be honest, I would really love it if we could get out and walk about a little bit, but I get the reason that we can't. Maybe later down the line we can get this added into the game and explore the wide world without our exosuits, but in all honesty, I doubt this will happen, so let's move on. The next question, can you stack multiple component parts of the same thing to improve cooldowns or resistances? And of course the answer is yes. Now, we did have a question that ties in with this the other week about caps for components and stat increases, and we know there will be no caps at launch, so yeah, look, this is really cool, but we will have to see how it plays out when we start getting into the realms of endgame builds. I mean, if it's possible to get things like 100% ability cooldowns and insane weapon damage buffs, then maybe this is something that the dev team will have to look at later down the line. Up next then, does enemy gun accuracy decrease based on distance? And the answer was weapons and gear have effective ranges, so distance will matter. Now, I think it's safe to say that this not only goes for enemy gear and weapons, but ours also. So this is definitely something you will want to remember, guys. Next then, we had a question last week about cross-save, and this week we have a question about cross-play. Will there ever be cross-platform play? The answer is we are going to be looking at it for post-launch. Now, this, just as the cross-save question, is something a lot of people have been asking for, so here's hoping that they actually sort out a way to make it happen. It'd be really cool if we could play with our friends no matter what platform they're on. Next then, we get some information about changes to Masterwork gear. So the question was, I noticed your Masterwork for Venom darts didn't have an orange inscription. Is that normal? The answer was we decided to add more Masterworks to the pool. The most rare have special properties, the others do not. Still very powerful though. Now, this is interesting because we were originally told that all Masterwork gear will have a unique inscription, but it seems that the team have now changed this so that they can add more Masterworks into the mix. Now, how this will play, only time will tell, so let's hope it turns out not to be a negative change and concentrate for now at least on the fact that it means there will be more loot to collect. Next then, a question on the Ranger Rally ability. Will ultimates also be buffed if used inside the Ranger Rally point? The answer is buffs weapons only. Now, this I would have thought was a bit of an obvious one because we have already mentioned in a previous episode that the Ranger Rally offers increased damage by 20%. And if that's stacked on top of the ultimates that already offer complete immunity while active, then I think we would end up with some seriously unbalanced gameplay. But either way, it is nice to get some clarification on the topic. Next then, sticking on the topic of ultimates, we get a question relating to gear and ultimate buffs. So the question is there any Masterwork or legendary gear that buffs ultimates? The answer is yes, mainly to rate at which you earn ultimates and damage done. Now, this is really nice to hear, and I think this will be very useful on javelins like the Interceptor, where speed and damage is the main ingredient for javelin's effectiveness. Next then, let's keep with the javelin questions and cover something relating to the Colossus. So the question is, can the Colossus deploy its flamethrower and shield at the same time? The answer is, can't do both. Now, I'm not surprised by this, but I do have to admit it would be pretty cool to wield a shield and flamethrower at the same time, but I guess it comes back to the whole balancing the javelin's power and damage output, so I guess some limitations are to be expected. And that, guys, wraps up another Q&A video. Now, as like the last few episodes, I will say that if you use Twitter and don't follow the dev team yet, then I highly recommend that you do, as they really are great people to follow. They offer great community interaction and quite obviously are a great source of Anthem information. I will go ahead and throw links to their Twitter accounts in the video description, so make sure to go and check them out. Now, as always, I would like to take a moment to say 1, let me know any thoughts you have in the comment section down below. 2, thank you for taking the time as always to watch the video. 3, have a great day. And of course, until the next one, I'll catch you all soon.